Hello and welcome back to another show. I'm Sid, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you this simple effect which will allow you to adjust the gradient of your background color by tapping to change, and eventually when it becomes fully opaque, reverse the color to make you whatever the background was. It's pretty simple. Everything takes place inside of Spark AR Studio using the patch editor and a couple simple rectangles. I'll also show you how to add some on-screen instructions at the end so that when your user first interacts with the filter, they know what to do, how to sort of like whether to close their eyes, blink, open their mouth, or just tap like I'm doing here. Yeah, so with that being said, let's get straight into it. I'll pause this, open up a new project, and we'll get straight into the news, I guess. I was going to say started. We'll get straight started, but that doesn't make any sense. So the first thing you want to do before anything inside of scene is come up to layers. This is our default layer. We're going to rename that foreground, and then we'll add a second layer which we're going to name, you guessed it, background. Cool. Don't forget this, because if you do, you'll have to record your video again and it'll be a waste of another 15 minutes of your life. So, you know, make sure that you've got your layers in order. After that, we're going to add object to our scene, and we're going to add a rectangle. That will appear nested inside of this canvas. If I switch over to here now, you should be able to see it just sort of floating, free floating on my head. I'm going to duplicate this until we have 7 of them. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Almost worked. In fact, it didn't work at all. Now we have 7 of them. I'm going to rename this one none, because this is our neutral layer with no light, no color, no nothing. And then incrementally I'm going to increase by 20%. So we'll do 20, 40, 60, 80 and 100. But you can increase yours by any amount you want, whether it's 25% or 10%. You just, tap a little more to get to the end. But yeah, for simplicity's sake, I'm doing 20 to 100% in increments of 20. And then this last one will be our reverse, the reverse orange, so I'll just call that Ignaro. Cool. Next, we're going to control select all of these, and we're going to change the height and width. We're going to fill width and fill height so that they completely cover the screen. I am still here behind this, but all of the layers are sitting on top of me right now, so you can't see anything. But that's fine. We're good. You're also going to want to change these, so whichever your gradient ones are, you want to control select those, and ignoring the other two, you want to adjust the layer and move those to the background. So now these are sitting on top, and these two represent our background layer. Cool. So the next thing you want to do is come up here to texture, and under segmentation and texture extraction, you want to click these plus buttons, which will take these and move them over into our assets panel, which we can now use with our canvases. So we'll create our first material layer here for none, rename that none, and we'll do the same for Ignaro, because these are our two background layers. I will also probably switch away from this camera because it does destroy the frame rate for absolutely no reason. So now we'll control select both of these. We'll switch our shader type to flat, so we get like a nice flat white background. It doesn't reflect any light from the scene or from like the real world or anything, so it's just a flat plain color. Next, we're going to add this texture, camera texture, under shader properties. That will separate the person out from the background, and then we're going to check this alpha box and add our person segmentation mask under that texture. This will completely separate the person out from the background, almost like our green screen effect. If you haven't seen that, there might be a link up in the top right. I don't know, it depends if I remember to add it. Check out some of my other videos, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Yeah, if you notice there's a little bit of rough edge around here, some of his face is being cut off. That's because the mask size is a little small. So you can come down under textures and person segmentation mask. You can come in here and you can adjust the edge softness, so the amount of like blur around the edges, and also the size of the mask. So you can increase it and decrease it, either to comically large proportions or tiny little shrunken head proportions, or you can find somewhere sort of in the middle that you're happy with. I usually go with around 1.5, 1.6. But yeah, that's just a way of fixing that really quickly. Next, we're going to do the material layers for all of our gradients. So we'll do 20% here, and then I'll just duplicate 40, 60, 80, 100, rename those. The actual gradients here that I've made, these new material layers, they aren't connected to anything. Only this 20% one is connected to this 20% one, because I duplicated them. So now we have to come in and manually add each one. It's a little bit quicker than what I could otherwise do, which is like click this button each time and then go down and rename it and come back up and click the button. This is probably the most tedious part of Spark AR, but now you see, once they're all connected up, we're the top layer is now beige like all the others. We'll come down here, we'll highlight them all, we'll change everyone's shader type to flat, so they're all this white colorless background, and then everything except for none, so all of our gradients and our reverse, we're going to change the color of that to whatever color it is that you want your filter to use. For mine it's going to be orange, so I'll do that, and once that's in, you'll see, oh look, everything's orange. It's pretty cool, but our gradients aren't there, and you can still, and it's pretty opaque, you can't see through it. And the problem here is that both of these are orange at the same time, when the effect that we're after is alternating between the foreground and the background. So what we'll do next is we'll come up to our patch editor and we'll start making this interactive. So inside of the patch editor, you want to double tap on the screen. That brings up this menu with all of these options. The one we'll be searching for right now is a screen tap, although you can use anything, eye blink, shaking the head, opening the mouth. They're all interchangeable with this. I'm only using it as an example because it's easier to demonstrate on a screen. So once you have your screen tap or whatever interaction, you'll add a counter, connect that to a counter, and connect that up to your equals exactly, which is the function that checks whether two numbers are the same. In this case, the number of our count and the number that we assign to each of these rectangles. So we'll control copy and paste that until we have 7 of them to match all of these. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we can just renumber them. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now it may seem like that means our maximum count here should be 6, but in fact it's 7 because we go from 0 to 6. And in programming, sequences typically start at 0 and include that as number 1. So 1 is 2 and so on until you get to 6, and then it loops back around, hence the count. After this, what we're going to do is, excluding the none again, we're going to control select everything, and under properties, instead of making them invisible here, we're going to make them extra visible in our patch editor. We get these little yellow patches which we can drag around and position wherever we want. You can place them in the order that you want them to appear on screen as the user taps. So I'm going to be doing like 20% to 100%, and then we'll switch to the reverse at the end. So connect all those up in the right places. I think I'm about to sneeze. We'll see. I did. It happened. I'm still here though. Cool. So now these are all connected and the lines between them are looking pretty wavy. So we'll check whether it works. No. Okay. Interesting. So what do we need to do next? Right. Under each of these materials that we've created, we need to adjust the opacity layers of these 5. Because right now they're all sitting at 100% opacity, which means when you click on them, the entire background becomes completely 100% orange, which you want for this one, but not for any of the others. So under opacity, you just want to change that to reflect the same as the percentage for each of your gradients. That was a bad sentence. Hopefully you made it to the other end of that. Kind of get what I'm going for. So for each of these, you just want to adjust the percentage of opacity, and you can already kind of see where I'm going. This picks up over time, 100, and then reverse. So 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and then reverse. Now if I switch over here to the FaceTime camera, see I'm orange and it's cutting me out of the background pretty good. Then it's back to neutral. I got hiccups now as well. This is like falling off the rails, this video. Then we've got 20%, 40%, and you can kind of see it better with the bed frame in the background. 60%, 80, 100, and then reverse. That's pretty much the entire effect. It's not that complicated. You can adjust the colors, you can adjust the like opacity, you can add more rectangles and increase the gradient, so you have to tap more times. Maybe you do it 10% at a time or 5%. Maybe you have alternate colors and you just rainbow it all the way across, whatever you want. The point is I'm showing you this so that you can come up with your own ideas and sort of build on these simple techniques. Yeah, so now the last thing to do is add some instructions. So if we come up here to device and under custom instructions patch, we'll create instruction on opening. That smacks these patches directly into the middle of your scene, right where you don't want them to be. So drag those out if you can, somewhere where you can see them. Our runtime here, we've got 3 patches. Our runtime, it's already paused this, so if I unpause it, you'll see the runtime is from the moment the filter opens, from the second that the user interacts with it for the first time by like swiping onto it. Then we have a less than counter, which is similar to our equals exactly function, except instead of checking that 2 numbers are the same, this one checks whether one number is less than another. In this case, our 5-second counter. So for as long as the filter is open, but it has been open for less than 5 seconds, there will be some instructions playing on the screen thanks to this patch, which we have yet to program. Once 5 seconds elapses, the text on the screen will disappear and it will just become a normal filter again. To add the token that enables these instructions to appear, you've got to come up here to Project, Edit Properties, under Capabilities, Instructions. You want to add Custom Instructions. If you don't have this, by the way, just click this plus button down here. It brings up an entire menu of other options that you can add. And if you type in instructions, even if it's not here, you can click it and add it onto your properties. So, yep, under Instructions, Custom Instructions, I'm going to select plus, and then in this case we'll be using tap to change because again it's simple and easy to demonstrate on a computer, but you can do anything you want. So you want to take this token that appears, you want to copy it and paste it down here into the token box, hit enter, and you can see now the timer is already started, but nothing is enabled because we're higher than 5 seconds. So if I hit refresh, you'll see now the timer starts again, the instructions box is enabled, and the instructions appear on the bottom of the screen. Once it hits 5 seconds, they disappear, the tick goes away, but the counter just keeps going. You can tap to change while this is happening. Yeah, so pretty much that is the entire effect. Tap, 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 tap. And here are all the patches. I'll try and make it a little bit bigger to see. Zoom way in on my face in like an uncomfortable way. Oh, I'm so messy with my trackpad. So there are all the instructions, all the patches, everything that we used in this video. I'm sorry if the audio's been a bit bad, or even the tutorial in general, because this was a weird one. I don't know, every time I try and make these videos, I either forget what I want to say, or just completely go off the rails and start talking about something else. I do like making them though, it's very fun. I'm rambling now, I've hit the end of the video and I'm just talking my way through it. I didn't think that I'd be at almost 14 minutes by now. So yeah, I had expected that I'd need to pad the end, but whatever. If you like the video, leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. This filter is actually live on my Instagram account, you can check it out. It's just called Orange, I think. I'm pretty sure it's just called Orange, but yeah, so check it out, try it out for yourself. Link below your Instagram, or tag me on Instagram and I'll check out the filters that you've made. Maybe I'll repost them, I don't know. Ending a video is difficult, not gonna lie. Even a tutorial video, I'm just sat here talking to myself in an empty room and like nobody really makes it this far. I'm pretty sure anyway that nobody makes it this far through the videos, but if you do, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's very surprising to me that you're watching, but you know, it's cool. It's still cool. I'm just learning. I don't know, I'm really rambling now. This whole thing's kind of gone off the rails. I'm gonna say like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you next time. Peace.